Good evening, children.
Good evening.
Okay. So, in our last class, we were discussing about the scattering phenomena and some of its applications, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, first of all, we can just recall it, and with that, we are finishing that chapter. There is no more points to discuss in it. So, we can just recall the points once again. What do you mean by scattering? And Mary?
Yes, ma'am. The phenomena of change in direction of propagation of light caused by larger number of particles present in the atmosphere.
Okay, it's nicely reading. All of you, please close your book and try to say by your own words what do you mean by scattering. Yes. Once again, what do you mean by scattering without looking in the book?
The phenomena of change in direction of light
Yes, very good. The phenomena of change in the direction of light and how it takes place.
by large number of particles.
By the large number of particles present in the atmosphere is known as scattering. Okay, good. Ashik, can you
Yes, ma'am.
explain one of the application of scattering of light?
When light passes through the forest,
One more.
Light in a dark room.
Yes, light entering into a dark room. This is due to Tyndall effect. Okay, what are the factors which depends on scattering? Prajot? Factors that depends on scattering.
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat that?
What are the factors that depends on scattering? How many factors are there? I think Aditya ready to say the answer, right? Aditya, the same question.
Size of particle.
Yes, good. Size of the particle. One more factor is there. What's that? Meghna.
Wavelength of
Yes, very good. Wavelength of the light and size of the particle. So my next question to Nirubama. Switch on your video, all of you. Nirubama, why the sky appears as blue?
Blue light is lower, the wavelength is less.
Yes, the wavelength with the light with a less wavelength is scatters. Whenever the light is coming from the sun passes through the atmosphere, it gets scattered by the large number of particles present in the atmosphere, and the light with the less wavelength is scattered, that is blue color. That is why the sky appears as blue. Again, the question to Haya. During sunrise and sunset, why the sky appears as red? Haya? Okay, then the same question to Rose Sebi. During sunrise and sunset, why the sky appears as red in color?
When the sunlight travels in long path through the atmosphere, the blue light will mostly red and yellow light.
Yes, very good. So during sunrise and sunset, the position of the sun is near the horizon. So the sunlight has to travel a large distance before entering into our eye. So when it is travels this much distance, what happens? The light with a lesser wavelength, that is blue colors, are scattered away, and only the light with a high wavelength, that is red color, is only enter into our eye. That is why during sunrise and sunset, the sky appears as red. So one more topic is left, an activity that demonstrates this blue color or the red color of the sky during the sunrise and sunset. So today we can demonstrate that activity here. After that we can do the exercises of the chapter. So in your page number 196, an activity is given in order to demonstrate the reason behind the blue color of the sky, or to demonstrate the red color of the sky during sunrise and sunset. So these are the experimental setup. Here we are using a source of light. Let S be a point source of white light. It can be anything. It can be an electric bulb or anything like that which produces a light. So what are the apparatus here? A source of light like electric bulb. Convex lens. Here we are using two convex lens, L1 and L2. Okay, and what is the nature of this convex lens? Is it is diverging or converging? Convex lens. Is it is diverging or converging?
Diverge.
No, convex lens, it's not mirror, it is lens. Convex lens is
Diverge.
converging lens. Convex lens is converging lens. That is why here we are using this convex lens here, because it converges all the light rays that is passing through the lens. Okay, the light beam is came from this point source, and the light that's come from this point source converges through this lens L1, and then we are allow this beam of light to pass through this glass tanker that containing clear water. Okay, containing clear water, and again allow the beam of light to pass through a circular hole that we are consider in a cardboard. Again this light is passing through the convex lens, the second convex lens. The convex lens converges all the light rays through this lens, and we can focus the light rays on a screen. This is the screen. So this is what the experimental setup that we are considered here. Here a point source of light. From the point source of light, the light is coming. It is allowed to pass through the convex lens. Convex lens converges all the light rays passing through it, and we allow this beam of light to passes through this glass tank. It is a transparent glass tank containing clear water, normal water. Then the light beam is passes through this hole that we are consider in a cardboard, and again allow the light beam to passes through the convex lens, the second convex lens, and we get the image on the screen that we are placed here. So my question is there any scattering is takes place in this arrangement? Does any scattering is takes place here?
Yes, ma'am.
Scattering is takes place. How it is possible? Is there any particles are present here? Here we are considering a glass tank that containing the clear water. Glass tank containing clear water. So my question, does the scattering takes place here? Is it is a true solution, suspension or colloid? What is the nature of the clear water?
Solution.
Is it is a colloid solution? True water. It is a clear water. Nothing is added into it. So what is the nature of the solution? Is it is a true solution, suspension or colloid? What do you mean by true solution? Can you differentiate? It is a true solution. So my question is, does the scattering takes place here?
No.
No, here the scattering is not takes place, because if and only if the particles are present in a continuous motion, then only the scattering phenomenon is takes place here. So here we are consider a glass tank that consists of clear water. That is, it is a true solution. No particles are present. All of them are in a dissolved state. So under this case, you cannot observe any light beam here. Okay, there is no process of scattering is takes place here. So now into this solution we add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate powder. Into this clear water we add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate. Okay, into this water we add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate. It's a white color powder. We add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate powder, and also 2 milliliter of sulfuric acid. 2 milliliter of sulfuric acid. So the beaker containing the clear water, we add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate and 2 milliliter of sulfuric acid into this beaker. Then what happens? This sulfur particle present in the sodium thiosulfate started to precipitate. So some kind of particles are formed inside this water. So first we add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate powder into the solution. Into that we are add 2 milliliter of sulfuric acid. Whenever the sulfuric acid is added into this beaker containing the sodium thiosulfate solution, the sulfur is started to precipitate. So what happens here? Colloidal particles are present in this solution. Colloidal particles are present in this beaker. Now the light beam is allowed to passes through the solution. Does the scattering takes place?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is because of the colloidal particles present in the solution. The phenomenon of scattering takes place, and when you observe through the sides of the beaker, you can see some blue lights are there. Some blue lights are observed on the sides of the beaker, and this light beam travels a long distance, and finally it is focused on the screen. And finally, which light you are observe here?
Red.
Red. Why? Because all the blue colored lights are scattered away. It undergoes scattering, and the light with a lesser wavelength is scattered away, and finally you only get this red light on the screen. This is what is the phenomenon of the scattering. I will share the screen. Blue color of the sky and that of the red color of the sky during sunrise and sunset. Okay. So what are the apparatus that we are consider here, Arjun? Okay, 1 minute. Okay. Arjun, so what are the apparatus that we are consider here for doing this activity? Unmute and say, yes. All of you please switch on your video. Prajot, what are the apparatus that we are consider here for doing this activity? We consider a source of light, 2 convex lenses L1 and L2, then a beaker containing water. Okay. And whenever the light passing through the beaker containing water, does the scattering phenomenon takes place here?
No.
No scattering takes place. So into that clear water we add 200 gram of sodium thiosulfate powder, along with that 2 milliliter or 2 drops of sulfuric acid. So what happens? Sulfur precipitate is formed, that is acting as a colloidal particles in the solution. So when the beam of light is passing through the tank that containing this sulfur precipitate, it undergoes scattering, and the light with a lesser wavelength blue color is scatters away, and only the light with large wavelength, that red color, is obtained on the screen. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So that's all about this chapter, human eye and the colorful world. Okay. So with this we are come to the end of this chapter. We discuss about human eye. We just recall all the points that what we are discussing in this class. Human eye, the definition of human eye, what are the different parts of the human eye, and what do you mean by power of accommodation? Do you remember what do you mean by power of accommodation? What do you mean by power of accommodation? The first topic that we will discuss here. It is the ability of the eye lens to focus an object with the help of a ciliary muscles. It is the ability of the eye lens to adjust the focal length with the help of a ciliary muscles is known as power of accommodation. And we were discussing about least distance of distinct vision or near point and far point, and some defects that can be caused to the eye, that is about myopia, hypermetropia and presbyopia, and we were discussing about the different interesting characteristics of light, that is about dispersion, atmospheric refraction, and finally the scattering. So what is one of the practical application of dispersion is nothing, it is the rainbow formation. And what about the case of atmospheric refraction? Can you say some daily life application of atmospheric refraction? Yes, Badra? Some daily life applications of atmospheric refraction. Yes.
Twinkling of stars,
Twinkling of stars and
advanced sunset and delayed sun, advanced sunrise and delayed.
advanced sunrise and delayed sunset. Okay. And then finally we were discussing about the scattering. Can you say one real life example for scattering? Yes, Ain Steve. Can you say one real life example for scattering? It is the blue color of the sky or the red color of the sky during sunrise and sunset. I hope all these topics are clear. Now we can move to the exercise of this chapter. Okay, are you ready? This is your first question. I want the tic-tac answers. Don't like this. Okay. Question number 1. The human eye can focus object at different distances by adjusting the focal length of the eye lens. This is due to yes.
These are the NCRT questions.
Yes, exercises that is you can see behind the textbook. NCRT exercises. Page number 197. Okay. So the first question, the human eye can focus object at different distances by adjusting the focal length of the eye lens. This is due to presbyopia, accommodation, nearsightedness, farsightedness. What's the right answer?
Accommodation.
Accommodation. Very good. Because it is the ability of the eye lens to adjust the focal length with the help of the ciliary muscles is known as accommodation. So the right answer is option number B. Option B. Now, question number 2. The human eye forms the image of an object at its cornea, iris, pupil or retina. Where do we get the image? Human eye, yes.
Retina.
Retina. Retina is the right answer. The human eye forms the image of an object at its retina because cornea is the outermost part of the eye and iris is a muscle that controls the size of the pupil. What is pupil? Pupil is a part of the eye that regulates the amount of light enter into the eye, and the retina is the part of the eye at which we get the image. Can we move to the next question? Okay. The least distance of distinct vision for a young adult with a normal vision is about 25 meter, 2.5 centimeter, 25 centimeter or 2.5 meter. What's the right answer? I think it's better to call your name. Rifa. Yes. What's the answer? The least distance of distinct vision for a young adult with a normal vision is about 25 meter, 2.5 centimeter, 25 centimeter or 2.5 meter.
2.5 meter.
2.5 meter.
25 centimeters.
25 centimeter. 25 centimeter. The near point of the eye of a normal person is 25 centimeter. Option C. Option C is the right answer. Now question number 4. Adidev. The change in focal length of an eye lens is caused by the action of pupil, retina, ciliary muscle or iris.
Can you repeat?
The change in focal length of an eye lens is caused by the action of what? Pupil, retina, ciliary muscle or iris?
Ciliary muscles.
Ciliary muscles. Good. Ciliary muscles is the right answer. The change in focal length of an eyelid is caused by the action of the pupil, action of the ciliary muscles. Okay. Now the next question is a problem. A person needs a lens of power minus 5.5 diopters for correcting his distant vision. For correcting his near vision, he needs a lens of power plus 1.5 diopter. What is the focal length of the eye lens required for the person? Question number 5 of your NCERT textbook. A person need a lens of power minus 5.5 diopter for correcting his distant vision, that is far vision. In order to correct the near vision, he needs a lens of power plus 1.5 diopter. So what is the focal length of the lens required for the person to correct his myopia and that of the hypermetropia? How we can calculate the focal length? What is the equation for calculating the focal length? Surya? How we can calculate the focal length? Here the power of the lens provided, then how we can calculate the focal length? What is the relation between power and focal length? Vishnupriya? What is the relation between power of the lens and focal length?
One power is 1 by f.
Yes, power P is equal to 1 by f. So here we can calculate the focal length required for the distant vision. Focal length required for distant vision. We know that P is equal to 1 by f, which implies f is equal to 1 by p. F is equal to 1 by p. What is the power of the distant vision? The power of the distant vision is taken as minus 5.5 diopter. So f is equal to 1 by p, or we can say 1 divided by minus 5.5. What's the answer? The focal length of the lens required to correct the distant vision. F is equal to 1 by minus 5.5. What's the answer? Yes? All of you please switch on your video, unmute and say the answer. What's the answer? 1 divided by 5.5. Yes, Aman? Did you got the answer? Ashik? 1 divided by 5.5. The answer is minus 0.181 meter. Minus 0.181 meter. So this is the focal length required to correct the distant vision. Focal length of the lens that required to correct the distant vision. Similarly, we can calculate the focal length of the lens required to correct the near vision. Here the power of the lens is given as power of lens is equal to plus 1.5 diopter. Then how we can calculate the focal length? F is equal to 1 by P, that is equal to 1 divided by 1.5. What is 1 divided by 1.5? 1 divided by 1.5 is equal to 0.667. 0.667 meter. So here a person needs a lens of power minus 5.5 diopter for correcting his distant vision. By this term distant vision we mean that far vision. For correcting his near vision, that is the myopic vision, he needs a lens of power plus 1.5 diopter. Then what is the focal length of the lens required by the person for correcting his distant vision and near vision? All of you please switch on your video. Is it clear? All right. So now we can move to the next question. The far point of a myopic person is 80 centimeter in front of the eye. What is the nature and power of the lens required to correct the problem? What is the nature of the lens required by the person to correct his myopia? Here the clue is given in this question. The far point of a myopic person. The far point of a myopic person is 80 centimeter in front of the eye. What is the nature and power of the lens required to correct the problem? How we can correct myopia? Which lens used to correct the myopia?
Concave lens.
Concave lens. So what is the nature of the lens that is required for correcting the problem? Answer is concave. Concave lens. Because it is already given in this question. The far point of a myopic person. This is the clue. So in order to correct the myopia, we must use concave lens. So what is the nature of the lens required to correct the problem? It is a concave lens. And one sub question is this: what is the nature and power of the lens? Here we want to calculate the power of the lens. So in order to calculate the power of the lens, we want to know about the focal length. But here the focal length is not provided, so we want to calculate the focal length of the lens. Okay. What is the near point of a normal eye? Near point of a normal eye. Once again we can go through the question, then it is more clear. The far point of a, here we want to calculate the far point. The far point of a myopic person is 80 centimeter in front of the eye. Okay. So we know that. What about the far point of a normal person? What is the far point of a normal person? Aman, what about the far point of a normal eye? I think all of you are forgot about the topics that we were covered in this chapter, right? Anyone? Did you remember the far point of a normal eye? Anyone?
Infinity.
Yes, it is between infinity and
25.
Yes, it is between 25 centimeter and infinity. Okay. So here the object distance u is at infinity and the image distance v is equal to 80 centimeter. And here the image is formed in front of the eye, so we can take it as minus 80. Then how we can find out the focal length of this lens? 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. That is equal to 1 by minus 80 minus 1 by, we know that the object distance is always used to denote in negative, 1 by minus infinity. That is 1 by f is equal to minus 1 by 80, minus of minus 1 by infinity is plus 1 by infinity, and anything divided by infinity is equal to 0. So here we can take it as 0. 1 by 80 plus 0. Or 1 by f is equal to minus 1 by 80, which implies f is equal to minus 80. So we get the focal length. Then how we can calculate the power? Power P is equal to 1 by f, take the reciprocal, minus 1 by 80 diopter is the answer. Minus 1 by 80. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's almost time we can